What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are here in Cross Country Cycle in Metuchen, New Jersey, and we are test riding the R18s. Beautiful bike. This is their standard. So the R18 first edition. Nice. Got this proposed boxer. It's a beautiful bike. I like the little exhaust there. This color's pretty nice too. Awesome color. We got the full dresser. It's got speakers. These are nice. Shawn, I think I'm going to trade in the Harley to get one. What do you think?
I know Shawn hates safety.
Shawn hates safety, and we're all gonna get yellow jackets.
Yellow jackets just for you, Shawn.
Hopefully they let me film on the bike, but we'll see when we get down there. Beautiful dealership, plenty of bikes. So I'm gonna keep walking around here. What do you think, sweetie? My next bike? Or do you like it in red? So what do you guys think? Jose should get a new KLR or what? It's a beautiful bike. This is the top of the line spec. It's got the camo on it. It's real nice. We do have to test ride these. We do have to test ride, maybe. So we got Jose on the new KLR. It's a beautiful bike.
You can always get top of the
Yeah, man.
but I feel like this is the top of the line. But
Yeah, it's beautiful.
but
No, go ahead, go ahead.
so this one has 2 layers of
Jose wants this adventure bike, man. We should convince him to get an adventure bike. This is the top of the line one. It gets all the bags, backrest.
so it's not as susceptible to other damage. Fog lights.
Nice.
70, 76.
Not bad, brother. What do you guys think? Late to the ride? He's always GoldWing. He's always late to the ride. He won't be late to the ride if he had this.
Oh, I'll never be at the right.
Yeah, he'll be gone before us. He's like, I'm not getting coffee. I'm going. That looks nice, though.
Scrambler. I saw. That thing's sweet. That's what I would want.
Yeah, but once you sit on that, you never really get one.
I know. That one's got a Corbin seat. He didn't sit on it, too.
I don't want to leave.
And that's like smooth as glass.
Yeah.
So we're out here at the demo day for the R18. It's pretty nice. That's the fully dressed one. Eddie's gonna ride that one. I'm gonna ride this one right here. And Jose will ride the classic. It's comparable to the Heritage. All same motor. Got the stripped down version right up here. Yeah, it's a beautiful bike though. Sounds nice. I wish it was a little throatier. If it was a little throatier, it'd be nice.
Yeah, but you're never gonna get. I don't think you're gonna get that kind of throatier sound while they're idling.
Yeah.
I don't think the boxes are.
Yeah, you got
But when you're ripping it,
ripping.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
I've never heard the R9T idling. You can't hear it idling. But when you're on the road with a nice, that's like, damn.
Off they go. We'll be in a few few minutes, that's what we're gonna do. All right, so the guys are going out. Got Jerry. What model is this? Got Nadal.
I thought that was the right song. That's cool. We can do another one.
Uh-oh. It's not starting. It's not starting.
He's got the freaking kickstand up.
That's why you buy a Harley. I said, Glenn, that's why I said, so you better buy a Harley. Very nice, very nice. Get these guys launching. So they're gonna go out for a test ride right now. Me, Jose, and Eddie are next. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today is the day after the demo day of the BMW R18, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on the bike. I'm really just comparing it to my 2020 Road Glide and actually Harley itself. You know, the BMW R18 we got to ride yesterday at Cross Country Cycles in Metuchen, New Jersey. If you're ever in the area, check them out. It's a beautiful dealership. They got 2 floors. They have a separate building for their used bikes. So if you're ever in the area, check them out. They put it on a nice event for everyone to test ride the BMW R18 B, which was the Bagger version. Also the Transcontinental version, I think it's called the Heritage version, and just the stripped down R18. They had breakfast there for you. They had food there for you for lunchtime. So it was a nice event. But you know, I wanted to give you my thoughts on the bike itself, and you know, it had some pros to it, some cons to it, and you know, towards the end of the video, I'll just give you my opinion if I would spend my money on the R18 B. So I got to select which bike I wanted to try, and I wanted to try the R18 B, or the R18 Bagger. It's comparable to the Street Glide Special, and you know, just first looking at it, the bike is very beautiful. You know, it has that BMW fit and finish. That's one thing I really did like about the bike. And further inspection, you know, I got to open the bags, and you know, they're comparable to Harley bags, the size of them. The paint was very nice. They only had the black ones there. I know they come in 2 other colors, but I think it was black with gray accents. Once I got onto riding the bike and just, you know, getting a feel for the bike itself, you know, the switches on the handlebars, they didn't feel cheap. You know, like I said, the fit and finish was very nice. Everything had a nice feel to it, even with gloves on. You know, the seat height on it, when I sat on it, is fairly low. It's 28 inches, so I could flat foot that bike easily. The infotainment system inside in the console there, you know, it was a big rectangle. It almost looked like a laptop or almost a big phone, and it had everything. You had to control it with the switch mode on the left hand side. But it split it almost into like 1/3 of all the engine info, you know how hot the bike is running, all that stuff, and then the other thing is the actual infotainment system with, like, you know, you could hook it up to Bluetooth, the regular stations, you know, all your modes and all that. So, you know, one thing I did appreciate was that whole big system. Yes, I didn't get to go through all the menus and all that, but it looked real nice, and it looked a lot better than the Boom GTS system that I have on my Harley. It was very responsive, even with the touch screen, the mode dials. It wasn't confusing. It was just an up and down arrow. It says for menu. That's how you scroll through everything. It has another button there for mode. You know, it was very simple. You know, I know on the Harley, you have a picture of a house that brings you back to the main screen, and then you have a back button on the right side. And then you got to figure out which way to toggle what. Sometimes if you don't know, you'll be toggling through the radio stations or the volume. On there, it actually was, you select it with the menu button. If it's for volume, it's a volume. Well, the volume actually was a turn dial on the left grip, and you can turn the volume up and down like that. And then when you're in searching for a station, like a radio station, you just select, you know, radio, and then you use that as your presets, or your, you know, just finding a radio station wherever you are. You know, I felt like the infotainment system was very nice. Like I said, I didn't really get into it. It was nice and clear. It had everything. It had everything like the Street Glide gauges. It had your tachometer, had your odometer, your battery. What I really liked was on the right-hand side of the bike, when you're looking at it, is almost connected to your throttle hand, where is almost telling you how much, it tells you how much power you have left. So if you're twisting the throttle a little bit, and say you're only 10% open on the throttle, it'll say you have 90% power left. When I got onto the highway, I'm gonna be honest with you, I cranked it open and full throttle, and the gauge went all the way to 0. It said you had no more power left. I mean, I think it was directly connected to, you know, what position the throttle was in. So that was kind of a neat feature. You know, once I pulled it off the kickstand, for some reason, I don't know what it was, maybe the front end, it felt really light. You know, I've ridden the Street Glide, I've ridden the Road Glide, and sometimes when I pull those off the kickstand, it felt a little heavy. But for some reason, I pulled off this one, like the steering was really light. It felt light. It felt like you just had a windshield on there, and that's it. But it was a full fairing on the front. With my height, I'm 5'7". The windshield on the front, too short, just like the regular Street Glide was, and the Road Glide. I would change that out right away or get a taller one, because literally when I was on the highway, it was buffeting. You know, what also I liked is the sound of the Boxster engine. It was really nice. It's a different sound from, you know, obviously a V-twin. It winds up different. The power delivery, well, we'll get into that a little bit later, but Actually, just the look of the engine was really, really beautiful. That was the centerpiece of the whole thing. And it looked beautiful. You know, the cylinder heads were coming out on the side. It looks a little bulky. You'd think it would be a little heavy, but at first, when you, like I said, when I picked it off the kickstand, I was like, this is not much heavier than, you know, a street glide or road glide. So, you know, and I just had this, you know, the bagger version where I had the bags and the fairing. So comparable to mine, I felt like it was a little lighter. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I was just excited or whatever. But, you know, with the engine, it had different power modes. There was rain, and then there's roll, and then there's rock. Rain is obviously rain mode. Everyone knows that's very neutered. I put it in there for off of one stop, off the line, you know, off a red light. It didn't even give you anything. I twisted the whole throttle and it didn't even go anywhere, basically. Then I put it into roll. It gave me a little more response, but if it was up to me, I'd probably keep it in rock all the time, just for the fact that it gave you, it was a little twitchy, but it gave you all the power, all the beans in the beginning. I mean, that's why you get, you know, that's why I got a Harley. All that torque off the line, you know, you want to feel that right away. And the Boxer engine are just like that too. So, I mean, maybe 2-3 miles I put in the other two modes, but I kept it in rock the whole time. When you were taking off or launching, or, you know, coming off a red light, there's ones, I had to look it up. So it is a dry clutch, a single dry clutch it's called. They call it. Now, I really don't know much about the clutches, but all I know is what I felt was when I kept it loaded, like Robert Simmons says, I released the clutch to find the friction zone. It felt like halfway through the clutch, it was catching the friction zone, and then it would stop there. I didn't want to give it more power. So I let go a little bit more of the clutch, and it stopped there until I got all the way out where I felt like my hand was really released. All of a sudden, I just felt a little kick, and then it went. I don't know what it was. It was very weird to me. So I thought it was maybe user error. So once we got to another stop, I did the same thing. With the Harley, I know it doesn't do that to me. I do the same thing all the time when I'm going starting, and you know, it's just progressively letting go of the clutch, and you know, off I go. But with this one, I don't know what it was. It wasn't making me feel comfortable, where I let go, and then it like jump a little bit, almost slip, and then go. So it was one thing I didn't like. It really bothered me to the point where, you know, I wasn't really getting confident enough to you know, really release the clutch. Also, when I got it up to speed, or when you were just going down the road, first gear, second gear, it vibrated a lot. I understand the way the position of the motor is. It's gonna vibrate. When you twist the throttle at a standstill, it wants to pull left every time. You twisted it, pulls left. Twisted it, pulls left. So that was making me a little bit uneasy. But for some reason, you know, it did it like when you give it a lot more throttle, when you're in first, second, third, it didn't matter what, it vibrated. I mean, right in my hand, my feet, my throttle hand, the seat. Like when I got into it, it just vibrated through the whole rev range. The only time it really didn't vibrate was probably below 2,000 RPM, and those engines, you know, they're just like V-twins. They want to stay around 2.5 to 3 grand. That's where you get most of your torque. So that threw me off. I didn't like the feeling. I didn't like that it was very buzzy. Even when I was up on 6th gear and I'm just putting along, we're going 70, 80, the buzzing, the harsh buzzing stopped, but you could still feel it in the handlebars and in the feet. And that's to my next point. You know, I understand the motor is, you know, on its side, or the cylinders are poking out to the right and left side, but the position of my feet, I just, you know, there was more of a standard position of the feet, like if you're riding a standard bike, but with foot pegs, not with foot pegs, with floorboards and a heel toe shifter. I literally had to jam my left foot under the heel toe shifter just to shift up. And then I was like, oh, I forgot it has a heel shifter. I tried the heel shifter. It wasn't parallel with the floorboard. So technically, it would be, the floorboard would be like this, and it would be offset. So I had to take my foot, turn it out to get the heel to press down to shift up. And that was just awkward. Now my legs are all over the place. You know, I just couldn't get a good feel of where to put my feet on this. I felt like it was better off if you had sport bike pegs on there, because, you know, if you just put your feet up out of the way of that engine, and you know where to feel around. And the same thing with the brake, you know, slow speed maneuvering, like my man Robert says, you use the rear brake, and it just didn't, it had a lot of bite when I found it, but I couldn't move my foot between the cylinder and the brake lever on the right foot. It was just, your feet were all over the place. I couldn't get comfortable. And then also, we did like 2-3 miles on the highway, and then I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to stretch my legs out? I can't even put my legs on the cylinder. They're hot. I can't put my legs are going to be in the standard position. It's either I have to stand up to stretch my legs, which can be dangerous. And I was thinking, you know, they promote this as a bagger. Baggers are supposed to be for long distance. And I don't get it. It was just, where am I going to stretch my legs out? I really have to stop, stretch my legs out, and then continue to keep going. Or I just stand up on the floorboards. You know, the floorboards were half the size of the Harley boards. I feel like when I'm not comfortable knowing where, and I understand I was only on it for 30 minutes, but if I'm not comfortable, you know, riding a motorcycle, because I don't know where to place my feet, because I understand it's not muscle memory, and if I had that bike for a longer time, I would understand it's muscle memory, where to put your foot. But in the beginning, I struggled a little bit with the foot placement and where can I put this. I felt like I should just put pegs on the cylinder heads and hopefully I don't burn my legs off. Like, that's how bad it was. You know, and don't get me wrong, it was a nice, you know, I was really trying to give it a fair shot. And, you know, there's some quirkiness of that machine that I just didn't like, but there are some things I did like. So, you know, for me, if it came down to it, and you said to yourself, Dave, would you spend this kind of money on a bagger where you could go long distance, where you could put a passenger on it, where you can go across country with it? Would you consider this bike? And I'm short, I wouldn't consider this bike. For me, if you're a BMW fan and you really want one, I mean, I can't tell you what it is, but for me, I wouldn't like it just for the fact that my foot placement will be all over the place. I can't stretch my legs. The buzziness in the seat, in the handlebars, in the feet, it would just drive me crazy. You know, and I ride, you know, a CBR 600, and when you're up pushing at 8-9 grand, it vibrates, but not like that. It's just like, it really vibrates, and I just didn't feel comfortable, you know. But for me, the biggest thing, what I liked about it, even though I wouldn't consider it, is the fact that, you know, Harley has to step their game up. I understand Harley paint, the fit and finish is very nice too, but the infotainment system, you got to update that. You got to find someone who could make that for you. The paint was very nice, It's comparable to Harley paint, especially when Harley does those special paints. They look beautiful. You know, maybe Harley switches and gauges and stuff, sometimes they feel a little cheap, but the BMW ones were nice, you know. But like in the end, like I said, you want a tour on this motorcycle. I mean, I guess if you got the stripped down version, that's only 15 grand, and something around town, okay, I get it. That would be something nice. Something, you know, just do like, you know, 50, 60 miles on, that's cool. But as a bagger, as a person who rides a bagger, and is taking long trips on it, the thing is not really comfortable. And I can't, for me, I wouldn't consider buying it, just for the fact that, yes, it looks beautiful, but the function is not working. I mean, for me, yeah, I know I bought a Harley and I pay a premium because of the name. I could have got a Kawasaki. They have a big bagger, which is probably 10 times nicer. Honda has one. And the thing is that those three, the Kawasaki, the Honda, and the Harley, their function is what it's made for. You want to go long distance, so they give you space. They give you leg room. Yes, maybe you have to add certain things, but the function is there. I just feel like BMW, the function could be there, but for me, limiting factor, especially if someone's over 6 foot, you're really going to be cramped in there like that. It's almost like riding a sport bike the whole time. So, you know, I just wanted to come in here and tell you my opinion. I know I only rode it for 20 minutes, but hey, you know, it can make a world of a difference. You know, if you're looking at other touring models, you know, if you're a bigger person, maybe I wouldn't really recommend this. You know, stick to maybe with the Hondas, with the Harleys, even with the Kawasaki, the Yamaha baggers. You know, they have a lot more room, a lot more function to it. You know, they're probably a lot smoother. Maybe not the Harley, but even with these M8 motors, the Harley is just, you don't feel vibration no more. You barely feel it. I mean, I got back onto mine, and like I ripped around on my Road Glide, and I have a 475 cam in it, and I didn't feel any vibration. Like, yeah, I feel it when I'm hammering on it, but cruising or even just going light to light, I didn't feel no vibration. The BMW does it. So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also, comment below, would you consider buying this bike? You know, sometimes people just want to buy it because it's a BMW and it looks nice and just like it's be a talking piece. Hey, I have no problem with that. If you got money like that, go for it. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you do subscribe, please hit that bell notification. Every time you upload something, the good old YouTube will notify you. So have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.